Hi, Alyssa, because she's the only listener that, listens to our podcast. This is Lights Camera. This is a podcast. And today we have a live studio audience.
This is a podcast.
Oops, did I not say that?
You said lights, camera, this is a podcast.
Okay, sorry.
We haven't introduced you yet.
Come back. Hi, I'm Stephanie. We have Logan, Ben, and we have our special guest, Diego.
Hello, everyone.
And then back to our live studio audience, Abby and Marissa.
They're just here. We couldn't get them to leave.
We couldn't. So
Yeah, I got it.
every time I start hosting the podcast, I ask them questions. And today our question's an unknown, has an unknown answer. And in the movie Forrest Gump, when he's doing that speech in front of everybody and then you can't hear him, what do you think he says?
Dang.
The N-word over and over and over again.
It's been a while since I watched it. It's probably something along the lines of, he's talking about the war, right?
Yeah.
It's probably like, I went out and we went to war and most of us was just following orders. And I saw some good things. I saw some bad things happen to some good people. And that's all I have to say about that. Or something along those lines.
All right.
Thank you.
I thought he said some advice that his friend Bubba told him. He went, there's fried shrimp, Bubba shrimp hamburger, shrimp cheeseburger, shrimp on the cocktail. And then he goes, that's all I have to say about that.
I'm pretty sure only one of those was in the movie.
Yeah, shrimp cheeseburger, right?
Sure.
All right, solid. So today...
Also, did you call me Logan earlier?
Logan?
I specifically requested that you call me Manfish.
I am not going to do that. Okay. So anyway, we're going to be talking about the movies Lady Bird and What We Do in the Shadows. But we know our Lady Bird discussion is going to be really intense. So we're going to do What We Do in the Shadows first. So What We Do in the Shadows is about vampire housemates try to cope with the complexities of modern life and show a newly turned hipster some of the perks of being undead, which is like a mockumentary.
Mm-hmm.
And so ratings, boys.
Starting out with me?
Yes.
I'm going to give this one a 6.5.
Fuck. Shame.
Remember that from the movie?
Oh, no. What? I thought we were just shaming Logan. Sorry.
It's okay. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I also gave it an 8 out of 10.
This is maybe my 6th time watching it.
I also give it an 8 out of 10.
Fair enough.
All right.
So 6, huh? 6.5?
6.5.
What was wrong with it? Did you?
A lot.
Oh, gee.
really?
It's a mockumentary.
It is.
There has to be so many things wrong with it.
Yeah.
Man, this guy.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. It was a good movie. It was enjoyable. It was fun more than it was good.
That's the point.
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Yeah. No, it's a comedy. But there are comedies with good stories.
It's a mockumentary. There's no
It is.
story. It's like reality TV show.
Yeah. But at least in those, there is some sort of overarching story.
They're showing their friend Nick what it's like to be a vampire.
Yeah. But that's not even highlighted as the main part of the movie. It's just sort of a part of the movie.
I like the lack of story.
It can work. You can work without a story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Inside Llewyn Davis didn't have an overarching story.
No.
And it is, again, the best movie I've seen this year.
Hey. Shout out.
But there was just something about this one that sort of left me wanting a little bit more. It felt almost... it was well done. I find it very difficult to judge mockumentaries.
Yeah, like This is Spinal Tap, right?
Yeah. There are definitely a lot of aspects in mockumentaries that are very different from traditional movies. Like you can use the cameramen as characters. You can you address the cameras. People speak their feelings out loud because they're supposed to, not because it's in the script. And there were lots of aspects of this movie that I liked. I gave it over a 5. I still consider this a good movie, and it was very funny. It was very entertaining. I enjoyed the movie. It was just sort of missing something for me, and I can't quite tell what it was.
That's fair. I kind of just think of it as just a straight comedy, though, which is, I think, why I rated it so high. If this wasn't a comedy, I mean, yeah, it would suck.
Yeah.
I don't take it seriously.
Yeah, there's so
either.
much, there's so many jokes, so many good jokes that just stick with me that I'm like, it's an 8.
Yeah. No, I had a very, very difficult time actually putting a number to this because it's a mockumentary. It can't be judged on a traditional scale. And trying to compare it to a real movie is sort of hard. It's like trying to judge something like Anchorman, where it's not serious. Yeah. It's not supposed to be. There are things wrong with it that are purposely wrong. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult to compare something like that to something with a more thought-out storyline. And I don't know. Don't take my number as I didn't enjoy the movie. It's a very enjoyable movie. It's just sort of a difficult to quantify movie.
Don't worry, we're gonna go outside and we're just gonna shame you.
That's
go
fine.
Around in circles, shame you. It's fine.
Remember that in the movie?
But what was your favorite part? What was your favorite part?
I really enjoyed the fact that all of the werewolves were just wimps.
The werewolves were my favorite part.
Were werewolves not swearwolves?
They were supposed to make a sequel about them, and they just didn't.
No, they still are working on
Are
it.
they?
I thought they were working on it, yeah.
I thought they were making it into a series.
There's 3 spin-off things. There's a spin-off of those cops that came through the house.
Yeah.
That's getting its own TV series for some reason.
That's random.
That's a weird one.
That's
interesting.
That's coming out soon. Then there's the werewolves one. That's supposed to be the sequel to this movie. Mm-hmm. It's called We Are Wolves. We Are Wolves. Spelled WERE.
As much as I did like the werewolves, I don't think I'd like a sequel for it, though.
I don't know.
I think I want to see
I'd be
it.
interested.
I liked this one. I don't know how well sequels and spin-offs would do.
Yeah, but I trust the guys behind it, I think. They always make stuff that are good to me. And then there's also just going to be a TV show about 3 vampires in New York this time. So,
Okay.
It's not the original cast. So
No,
it's
it's
whatever.
three different.
I liked sort of the quirky awkwardness that mockumentaries tend to have.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of like documentaries do
Yeah.
too. Like, because they're talking to a camera and they're not actors.
Mm-hmm.
These are actors, but they're acting so well that you believe that these are not actors. They're just people, and they're being put in front of a camera and they're awkward. They don't know how to act. They don't know what to do half the time.
That's basically Stu.
Yeah.
Stu. I think he wasn't supposed to be. He wasn't supposed to be an actor.
Yeah.
Like what he explains, like what he does, what Stu does for a living. That's what the
He
actual
really
actor
does. Yeah.
Right. Stu is so good, though. I love Stu.
My 3 favorite characters were Stu, Peter, and the main guy. Viago, yeah.
He was great.
I loved just Viago's sort of hello, sort of, awkward.
When he stares into the camera and he just smiles.
That smile,
Yeah.
that gets me every time.
Oh,
That opening scene, that was great. Like that was a great establishment of what the movie's gonna be. Where
Yeah.
Yeah.
the camera. That was great.
Every time they fly, I just can't. Their body arches, and it's just great.
yeah. The flying was a little bit cheesy for me. I know that was the point.
But I thought it worked for what it was. It was supposed to make you laugh.
Yeah,
it worked. It worked. It was kind of obvious that they were using rigs, but it was fine. I let that one slide.
But if we were the vampires, who would we be? Just based on their personalities, because they're an odd dynamic, but it works. They're like roommates and they're all different.
Yeah.
But who would we be?
Ben is Viago.
Yeah,
That
for
is-
sure,
yeah,
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Thank you.
I think you might be a mix of Peter and What's the other guy?
Vlad
Deacon or Vladislav?
You're Vlad.
I'm Vlad?
Vlad is,
Yeah.
whatever his name is.
I think you're a mixture of both.
That's the one that dated the Beast, right?
yeah, I think you're a mixture.
Yeah.
I like Peter. So
I can see you as Nick.
Nick,
Bro.
Nick is an asshole, though.
Nick sucked. I hated Nick.
But like, I see myself more as a deacon. Not gonna lie to you.
Dude,
guys.
you're not that
Yeah.
cool, dude.
Damn.
No, you are
I'm
Deacon.
glad to hear that I'm cool.
Deacon and Vladislav, despite being two of the main characters, really did not leave much of an impact on me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't really get much of their character.
Deacon especially, personally
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I feel like Vladislav, his whole thing was, the Beast. But Deacon really didn't leave much behind with me other than he doesn't do his dishes.
Well, also
That
just
seems
like
so funny.
his jealousy towards like Nick. That was pretty funny too.
Yeah, I like that.
Nick's wearing the same jacket.
Yeah.
as
It's not even. It's not the same.
And when they're fighting as the bats. Like that fight. Bro, this movie's unbelievably funny though.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. It's a very funny movie.
Like, I'd put it in my top 3 comedies.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, huh?
What is your first and second?
I don't have a third one, but I'd put Hot Rod in there somewhere too.
Hot Rod,
And
okay.
then
I love
Gotta find
the...
my
You
third
said
one.
top 3.
top 2 comedy.
It's like Hot Rod, What We Do in the Shadows, and I don't have a third one.
Yeah.
I loved the costume design in this. I
Yeah.
loved all of the outfits that everyone wore.
Also, the set design is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I loved their little flat.
Their little house.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Makeup and practical effects also worked as well.
Yeah, like Stu was
Yeah, the makeup
super
was very
red,
good.
and it, just to show that he was human.
Yeah.
I,
And then
think
you like
I
the-
feel like that might just be his skin.
Yeah, that
Okay.
Red guy.
He's just a white guy.
Like you could tell like the difference when they had that one picture where it's like all the vampires.
Yeah,
and
and then
Stu,
he's
like,
super red. Yeah. Yeah, that was great. Did you watch
me
it
up.
until the end of the credits where you get
did.
hypnotized?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that except for this one.
Really?
Because I was just like finishing up my notes and they came up and I said, "Oh, that's funny."
What happened?
The Deacon goes like,
You do not remember the events of the last hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
"Yeah, that was all right." But can we talk about that one line? Okay, wait. Can we talk about when they first meet Nick and they're having him eat the biscotti? It's like, oh, we stole that from Lost Boys, but like it's pretty cool. And then Vlad's line about why they eat virgins. He's like,
Oh yeah.
I think we drink virgin blood because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
But then just no. I think about it this way: like, imagine you ate a sandwich and you would enjoy it more if you knew no one has fucked it. That's so funny.
Later, that scene where they were talking about how you can like transform into animals, and then you see him as a cat with his face.
Because he couldn't get his face.
Yeah,
right.
because
the face
the
is right.
Yeah.
This movie is so funny. Like when I'm not laughing, I'm kind of just like weirdly smiling at it.
Yeah.
Which at this point, because I've seen it so many times, like I know the jokes, so like I'm not really laughing that much, but I'll still like be like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
But then what gets me every time is the werewolves. The werewolves make me laugh each and every time, like more and more. And
Yeah.
whenever Viago's like when he's having that nice little evening with the girl before he before he eats her, and then he hits the main
Setting out
artery.
the newspapers.
When he hits the main artery and he's trying to catch all the blood in his mouth.
He just lays all the newspapers on top of the body like nothing happened.
That shit gets me dying every single time.
Yeah, that whole scene where she's like, "Yeah, I like to travel and stuff," and he goes, "Okay." He just gets up and
just gonna-
fights there.
One thing that I really liked was when he met the little girl vampires.
Oh yeah.
And they were going off to meet a pedo. I thought that was like really kind of a clever thing because that's something I never really would have thought of.
Yeah.
Like that's a perfect way. That's a perfect way to get prey because they're pedophiles. Nobody's gonna miss them.
Yep.
And
Well.
there's also like it's easy. It's easy for him to get stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm 14. Oh cool, you want to meet up? Oh, that's super cool. And so I thought that was clever.
Yeah.
They had
it was
heavy
really cool.
accents too. That was like the first time I've actually like
New Zealand accents?
yeah, like
Oh yeah.
took notice.
I love New Zealand accents. They're my favorite. They're so funny.
Yeah, that's great. Speaking of like little kids, like, do you remember that one part where Vlad's like, he's like, "I got bitten when I was 16.
Oh
I
yeah.
always look 16." Like, he does not look 16.
Yeah, I thought this was a good twist on just the vampire genre.
Yeah.
Also, like mockumentaries, they can just be like, honestly, mockumentaries is like a easy way to make something.
It
and I'm
is.
always
I
just like,
felt-
But I thought this one worked really well.
Yeah, it worked well, but it felt almost like it was cheating.
Almost. I almost feel that way with any mockumentary, though,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's sort of a cop-out way to be like, oh, let's make some self-aware jokes, and we can make jokes directly to the camera because it's part of the thing.
And go off script a lot. I think a lot of this was improv.
It seemed like it.
Which is kind of impressive because there's some really good jokes.
And this is that type of comedy fit this movie, this sort of genre, because I notice a lot of movies recently, like big movies, have been allowing people to just improv and like improvise a lot of their lines and things. Like most of the recent Marvel movies, like Thor Ragnarok and
Thor
Guardians.
Ragnarok is the guy who directed this. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, the guy who he played Korg. Korg had the Kiwi accent.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not notice that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it definitely worked a lot better in this movie than it did in those.
Yeah, of course.
Because that style of comedy works very well in that style of movie, whereas it sort of stands out in a more serious movie, like Thor wasn't really super serious, but the most recent Star Wars movie was filled with that sort of same improv, what's it called, type of comedy.
Improv.
Name
Starts
a
with a
movie.
B.
Name a movie that has that type of.
It starts with a
B.
bathos.
What?
What?
I've never heard that before.
It is like sudden. It's unexpected comedy, like subverting expectations comedy. That is like Deadpool. Where it's like, it's a serious situation, and these people are just making off-the-wall jokes that don't really fit into the tone.
Yeah.
It works in comedy movies, but it really stands out in,
Did you also
in more
hate
serious
Deadpool?
movies. I did not.
Oh.
I thought it was okay.
Okay.
I don't hate this one.
Yeah. I'm not saying you hated this one, just I hated Deadpool.
I just feel like you can't hate
It was okay.
what we do in the shadows. I don't think you can actually
it's a
hate
very
it.
difficult movie to hate. There are
Yeah.
people that I
So
know
lovable.
that hate parody and that hate things that make jokes or poke fun at other things, and I don't understand that.
Well, I don't think this is like parody.
Not really, other than a couple Twilight jokes. It was pretty much...
Yeah.
Which
Lost
each
Boys.
vampire was supposed to be like a nod to like other like movie vampires. Like Nick was supposed to be like resemble Edward from Twilight.
Yeah, Peter was like Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I just like how they say his name.
Vladislav was
Was
Vlad
he?
the Impaler?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I thought he was from
might have been.
He was Vlad the
the
Poker.
Interview of the Vampire, the one that Brad Pitt plays.
I just watched that
Maybe.
the other day. Which one were you saying? Deacon?
And I was thinking Vladislav. Or I thought he was like
No,
Tom
probably-
Cruise's character.
No, Tom Cruise is... No. Tom Cruise was
There
very
seemed
pretty in that movie.
Vladislav had a lot of like Vlad the Impaler references. It seemed like
It probably
Oh,
was,
maybe
yeah.
it was.
like he was impaled on a lamppost, and like they called him Vlad the Poker, right?
Yeah.
When he went on
That
Facebook.
one- yeah, there's like, you can poker?
Yeah.
Yes.
When they're first like playing with all the technology.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever
Yeah,
Vlad's
that's great.
taking those selfies, whew, that gets me every time. But there was, I think, because I don't know that much about vampires in vampire movies, but like in Interview with the Vampire, like they watch the sunset and then they watch the sunset on their little laptop.
Yeah.
That could probably be a reference.
Probably.
There probably was a lot.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot that I missed.
Yeah, probably.
Because I only did watch through this once.
Yeah.
So, I did enjoy it though. I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
I'd watch it with other people.
I think the first week of watching it, I watched it like 3 times. Because I was dying. I was watching it by myself, and I was like dying, and I was like, my dad's got to see this. And then I started over with my dad, and then he fell asleep, and I watched it all, and then I watched it again with him next day.
I think really sad.
No, it's
No,
not.
it does.
It's not sad.
Sad? Live studio audience, is that sad? I think that's a yes.
How is that sad? I just like this movie.
You watched it 3 times.
Yeah, because I liked it a lot.
And then your dad fell asleep and you continued to watch it.
Yeah, because I didn't. Fuck off, dude. You're never coming back on the podcast.
All right, my bad.
I feel like we all watched it individually. I don't feel like we ever watched it with the group, and I feel like it'd be different if we did.
Yeah, probably.
This gave me laughs though, like I was watching it with a group, so I didn't care.
Like every time I watch it,
I cheated. I watched it with Abby.
Bro, you cheated?
Yeah.
I watched it 3 times, and I feel like I
Abby's-
still get the same laughs.
Abby's doing double hang loose hands.
Hang loose.
Hang loose.
Wee wee.
But I enjoyed this movie. It did sort of have a definite documentary feel to it. I loved the makeup. I thought that was very well done. Peter looked amazing.
Yeah.
I loved him. I was so sad when Peter died. That was like, I saw him on
Rest in
fire. I was
peace,
like,
Peter.
no!
But his screeching just kills me.
He's screeching?
No, the whole thing where they opened it up and he's just on fire.
Yeah, and he's just like running around.
He takes a tiny little bucket to dry.
yeah.
I remember watching it the first time, and Nick throwing up blood killed me so much. Like, it just killed me. Like, all of them were just staring at him.
Oh, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Yeah, he just...
I don't get that though. Can vampires not eat, like,
They drink blood.
they can't eat anything else?
They're dead. Their digestive systems don't
Oh.
work.
I mean,
I thought it was
in Twilight, nobody eats human food, right? They don't eat human food.
Well, in Twilight, they can eat human food.
Can they?
But
no, they can't.
he says it tastes like dirt.
Yeah, it's basically-
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like
they don't in the movie,
Like
but he
you
says
said, it
he
tastes like
explains that
dirt.
they can, but it just tastes like dirt.
Abby's a Twilight expert. You should listen to her.
I read the books,
Oh.
so
Nerd.
Dang.
Damn.
Y'all read books on a movie podcast?
No, I don't.
Live studio audience
You're
fighting with Logan. Let's
oof.
oof.
Throw hands.
About Twilight, it's not even about what we do in the
We're not even
shadows.
talking about Twilight. I don't doubt it, but I do specifically remember the comment about food. So
I also remember that in the movie.
yeah,
I don't. I don't think I ever watched it.
it was in the movie. Yeah, it's in the first movie.
If
It's in the first movie.
All right,
It's a
fuck
conversation
Twilight.
in the
Fuck
cafeteria.
Twilight. We'll just...
Watched the first movie like 3 days ago. It is not the first movie.
Okay.
I mean, that's literally the only thing I remember about Twilight is that one comment. So
Yeah. No, it's in the cafeteria.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
a scene in the very first movie. It's like right after she discovers that he's a vampire. She's asking him like, "Well, why can you just eat normal food?" And he's like, "We can, but it just tastes like dirt."
yeah,
And
it
she's
sounds
like,
that.
"Oh, I."
It sound like that.
And she's like, "Oh, I used to eat dirt."
Fact check
What?
it right now, Marissa. Fact check
okay,
it.
I don't remember that one.
Fact check it.
Where Kristen
Fact check
Stewart
it.
went, "Yeah, I eat dirt also." It's really cool. It's trying to relate.
No,
to,
she
to
said
Edward.
like when I was a little kid, I used to eat dirt. So
What? So, no, she did not.
Yeah, that's
I
where my
cannot
memory
believe
cuts
that.
off, and I don't remember.
I'm like 90% sure that's in the movie.
I cannot believe that. I feel like you're trolling us.
It's at least in the book.
No, it's not. She does not say she ate dirt.
This is like the first time I noticed.
Okay. In the very beginning of the movie, when she's talking to...
Speak into the mic.
In the
Alright.
very beginning of the movie, when she's talking to Jacob, or whatever, Taylor Lautner's
Jacob.
character, they talk about making mud pies. And then later on in the movie, she's talking to Edward about food and how he gives her whiplashes. That's all she says.
Yeah, this movie's weird.
Yes.
Literally what it is.
That is false.
I believe her. She just watched it 3 days ago.
But also, this is the first time where I'm not outnumbered.
All right,
There's
let's
3
do.
guys, 3
Wait,
girls.
Why'd you read the books?
They were popular at the time.
They were.
Yeah,
Fair.
for like teenage girls.
Everyone was wearing the shirts. I needed to be in on the joke.
Bro, just wear the shirts.
It wasn't a
That's good.
joke.
Yeah, it wasn't a joke.
It made me sad.
So you read all 3 of them?
Yeah, see.
4.
There's 4?
There were 4 of them.
I don't give a fuck.
There's 4, not 3. Thank
See,
you very much, Ben.
During that time, I just
There's like
crossed
6
my
books
arms
now.
and waited for 7th grade to pass by.
Damn. Hard time for you in 7th grade?
Yeah, everyone's like, Twilight. And I go, this is me crossing my arms. And I waited for 7th grade to pass by.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Also, can I just...
Any more comments about Twilight?
not Twilight, but What We Do in the Shadows. I do admire
guess.
that they got all like basically most of the vampire cliches on there.
Yeah,
They did.
I liked
Yeah.
that.
Like-
the silver part where he's like,
Yeah.
That makes me sad, but it's so funny.
where he's
Yeah, the
like, it's
silver
pure
part.
silver, and then he wears it, and then he's just smiling in the camera,
Yeah.
and then he's like,
Yeah, no, they got the silver, they got the Renfield, the thralls, the they didn't do garlic, from what I remember.
Yeah, they didn't.
They didn't do garlic.
They
But I
did
feel like that's too
crucifixes.
cliche.
Yeah, they're, oh, cover it up, cover it up.
Yeah.
when they were texting and then they texted him, there's a crucifix behind you.
Where?
Too funny, man. It's too funny.
It's too funny.
But I also like it, the club scenes
funny.
where they're like going to the club and they're like,
I'm
this is our like
Twilight.
the most popular club, and it's just like full on empty, and it's just them two. Good shit. you can't reenact the jokes, but they're there.
No, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Give me a joke.
Do biscotti.
Do you like biscotti?
If you haven't seen this movie already, why haven't you?
Logan,
Yes.
do you like biscotti? Why don't you eat biscotti?
Didn't his
No.
penis turn into a snake?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he was like so like mad about
Spiked my
it.
spaghetti.
Yeah.
Turned my dick into a cobra.
Also, his reaction to all of it was so like just minimal. He's like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Yeah.
Like, freaking out. He's just like, "This is too weird."
Feed me worms. You spike my
Yeah,
spaghetti.
exactly. Good movie.
Good shit.
It was. It
Very
was
good
good.
movie.
It was
I
good.
love it.
Are we wrapping it up?
I'd watch the werewolf sequel.
I would too.
I'd
watch it, but I don't know if I'd enjoy it.
I
I'll
love
just
the
be
main
honest.
werewolf guy, and it's just if Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement are writing and directing it, I'm gonna trust it. I'm gonna go for it.
am.
All right.
I'm not entirely set on the whole Stu being a werewolf thing. I thought that was.
Oh,
kind of,
really?
I think
I thought it was an odd choice.
I thought just 'cause I was kind of mad they killed him off, and I'm just happy they brought him back.
Yeah.
I'm happy they brought him back, but like
it is a little.
But I really wish they didn't turn him into a werewolf. That's just kind
See,
of weird.
I completely disagree
Oh shit!
because I thought that was just screaming. Whoa! Yeah. No, I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Just because, like, I think that was just a perfect ending for Stu. Just because, like, what else would have been? Like, you're messing with vampires, you're messing with werewolves. I didn't want to see him as a werewolf. Or not, I mean, vampire. But werewolf fits.
And he's vegetarian, so it kind of
Exactly.
works for him.
Alternative. What if they had turned him into a zombie instead?
I wouldn't like that.
I wouldn't.
I
Get
wouldn't
out of
like
here,
it.
Logan.
He
Okay.
eats brains. It's meat.
Yeah.
You know, can't work.
I love the zombie they were talking to that was trying not to do all the zombie things.
Yeah.
Because like he started running after, or I think they all started running after Stu or whatever in the party. You could he like starts to put his arms up like it, and he like puts it down. I was like, that's funny.
I like he talked and he was talking about that, and immediately two other zombies just came in, like just doing like they're just groaning and like putting their hands out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good movie.
Hey, very funny movie.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like the whole Stu thing at the end was just to sort of set up the sequel,
Yeah, which I'm
I
cool
guess
with.
kinda.
which.
Well,
We'll
did
see
they
how the
plan it
sequel goes.
ahead before, like, or maybe they just thought about it after?
I don't really know.
Because
I
they
don't know.
got such
The way
high
that
praise
they-
about the movie.
The way that they ended it, it really seemed like they were pushing for a sequel.
I don't know. They didn't know it was going to be successful. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, you can always plan for a sequel though,
I don't know.
I'm-
Just in case.
just in case.
The last Airbender movie ended on
Fuck
a cliffhanger.
well.
that. Yeah. Nope. Shame.
Ben, you've seen that movie?
No, I have not.
What movie?
Ben.
The one you just mentioned.
I didn't mention any
No,
movie.
He
I
didn't
believe.
mention
I
it.
believe you.
That movie
He
doesn't
didn't
exist.
No,
Yeah,
I
it does
believe
not
you.
exist.
No, guys, he just said
Just
the
like
last
the Star Wars
Airbender.
movie.
I believe you said
The what?
I'll believe it.
last
at that.
Airbender.
Oh, that'd be so cool if they made a live action movie of that.
And they got M. Night. Was M. Night Shyamalan doing
It
it?
was M. Night Shyamalan.
Hell
They
yeah,
were
I
all
love that
white
guy.
too.
Yeah.
Not.
Fucking Aang and
Hey,
Except for the
we
bad
need
guys.
representation.
shut up. Wait. That's Diego's attempt
Diego is having
on
trouble
trying
with the
to do the
kazoo.
kazoo.
You gotta sing into it.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
Also, let me just say, there was no music in either of these movies.
I'm sorry.
for the
I know. I
kazoo.
mentioned it before we started the podcast. I was
dare
like,
you.
Oh,
fuck.
but good music choices for this though.
For this
Very
one?
like old timey.
I don't really remember it.
It was remember like that scene when they were playing music.
Oh, on
like,
the record.
No. They're just like they all had an instrument.
Oh yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
basically that vibe, but like played well.
The intro song was pretty good too.
Oh yeah. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I couldn't remember
It's
the
just-
music.
yeah, it's
in
nothing
there
like
for some
that
reason. But
memorable,
yeah,
but-
now that I think about it, it was
good.
And they made
It
a
was
song
good.
for Stu. It was like Stu.
Yeah.
Like they made like when they were walking out in the forest
they were
before
just
the
chanting
werewolves.
his
Yeah,
name,
they're
right?
like Stu, Stu. But it was like a little song. But also, what did you think about Viago and his like romantic
Oh,
interest
yeah.
still being alive?
It was great.
I liked that.
I
Yeah.
loved
I
the
liked that
ending where
ending.
he's like, "You can call me a cradle snatcher. I don't care." He's like 100-something years old and she's like 90.
Yeah.
Also, that Skype call with his familiar. he's like, I'm 90 years old.
I didn't do anything with my life.
He closes the lid on him.
Ooh.
Yeah, good movie.
I enjoyed it. I'll change my score.
Ooh,
Bump
is it
up to
lower?
I'll bump it up to a 7.
Oh, yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
good, that's pretty good.
Okay, cool. We're keeping
take
our
it.
scores,
Yeah,
right?
I think-
yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I'm
keeping
gonna
my
keep my
score.
We're on 8?
8.
8.
8?
8.
8?
We sound like the birds from Finding Nemo.
8?
8. 8.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. What? Yeah. All right. Okay. So I will warn you guys that this debate is gonna be highly intense because Diego. Diego, what do you think about Lady Bird?
It's okay. So it's weird. I like the movie, but I feel like I would enjoy it less if I couldn't relate to anything. You know what I mean?
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I get it.
Like
Yeah.
there's like the characters themselves. I think I can relate with in the movie, like the mom character and stuff. And then I also lived in Sacramento for about 2 years. So
Ooh.
I know
Dude.
the place.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I know Logan hates it, and me
I do not
and
hate
Ben
it.
like it. Okay, whatever. But you have a high okay. Anyway,
Wait,
we're
wait.
just gonna tell
I
you
am
what
highly
Lady Bird is
critical of it.
about.
Wait, did he give a score? What's going on?
Wait, we have to
What was that? Why
No.
did he talk?
because I thought Diego didn't like it because when we talked about it in the car
We didn't talk
that
about it
other
in the car.
time, yeah, we did. When we were getting tacos, you were all talking about Lady Bird, and then Diego was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
"Yeah, I
yeah.
agree with Logan."
I remember
And
that.
I don't
Logan hates
remember
it.
what you said, Logan. So I'm sorry, I don't know, but maybe I will agree.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. Okay, so Lady Bird is about Marion, a nurse who works tirelessly to keep her family afloat after her husband loses his job. She also maintains a turbulent bond with a teenage daughter who's just like her, loving, strong-willed, and deeply opinionated. All right, let's go with ratings. I want Logan's rating last.
Me too.
That's fair.
All right, so around the circle, I'm going to give it a 9 because I really like this film.
God damn.
Dang.
Oof.
Holy shit.
I like it.
Shit.
I can
That's
relate
high
to
as fuck.
everything. I can relate to everything.
Major oof.
Okay. I give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm gonna raise 0.5 on that and give it an 8.
Wow.
All right.
I'm still at my solid 5 out of
That's
10.
All right. Well,
Crazy,
we're gonna
man.
change your
You're
mind because
wild.
I have
You're
so much to
wild.
say about
Let's
this
pass
film.
this to the audience really quick. What did you guys
Well,
think?
because Abby didn't like it, so then
No, okay, no.
Give her a
Abby,
mic.
Abby, what's your score?
Okay. Not that I didn't like it, but I didn't find it very relatable, and I didn't find it very realistic.
well, because which is it's
Very realistic.
highly realistic.
No, it's really not.
No, it is. Literally, I lived Lady Bird's life. Legit.
Except
Greta Gerwig, me and her had the same coming of age story, and I can explain everything when I give my opinions to it.
I
Just
didn't-
because she's a gal and who didn't like Lady Bird doesn't mean it was a bad movie. I'm just saying.
I didn't.
I didn't say it was a bad movie. I said it was a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, check yourself.
So an
Stephanie.
F. 50%.
But the fact that you guys can
50%.
highly critique this
That
because
means
you're not, it's not
satisfactory.
relatable. All right.
I didn't
whatever.
like relate to the whole story. I just found a lot of little things that I related
It's
to.
really simple.
Also, it's just a good, well written, well directed, well acted movie that
I'm going to say well written and disagree with the other points.
nah, fuck
Oh
off.
no! Fuck!
Really?
Fuck you!
What do you think, Diego?
Yeah, I don't agree.
With what?
with what Logan said.
Stop
great.
speaking in the kazoo.
Sorry.
No, I just found. You know how I said it was the Goodfellas of coming of age stories? That is
Damn, what the
that
hell?
is a little bit.
the hell?
That's a little bit.
If anything, Stand By Me is the Goodfellas of coming of age stories.
All right,
I can see that.
I gotta
I
rewatch
can
that.
see
But I over exaggerated. I was just going off the hype because you hated it, so I wanted to over exaggerate how much I loved it. But I do stand by it because I think I love Goodfellas. I think every scene it nails it. It's either like it wants to be funny, it's funny. It wants to be towards the story, it's towards the story. I just feel like everything that each scene like nails it, and that's how Lady Bird is to me. I feel like every scene it does what it wants to do.
I disagree.
Fuck off.
See, I think at first the only problem I had with the movie is the fact that it tried to tackle so many things at once, and like there would be a problem, and you get like a little short bit of it, and then that was it. But then I also can understand because it's like Lady Bird's like her whole like life and it's her perspective. So I think when it's other people's problems, it's kind of like a in and out kind of thing. So like I understood it, and that's how I justify the thing. But
See, I hated Christine as a character.
Wow.
I hated her.
I'd date her.
I would not.
I would
I would
not.
date her.
I would not.
Look, she's just trying to find
Sure,
herself.
let me do
She
my
is a
thing.
snob.
This is a smash
Oh,
or pass.
She's
I think I'm gonna
unrealistic.
do, pass.
She is
Smash.
disrespectful.
Yeah, it's fun.
She has two wonderful parents that she lashes out at for no reason.
She's got a strong heart, man. She's got a big
I don't
heart.
think it's for no reason. Though.
You see,
She
because
has
Yeah, it's
no
not for no
reason for
reason.
it.
but also she like I remember being 18, and there's a lot of things
What
I
was
can
that,
relate.
2 years ago?
Yeah. Okay. Shut up. But
I also
it's
remember being 18 and we're talking about
but
it.
also like it's like a time where you're really confused and you feel like you have everything figured out, and when people tell you like that's not how it is, you get a little feisty, and I don't.
Yeah, me either.
Well, because I just don't think like this film was for women by women, written.
I love
About
it.
women. I think it
All right,
was
there we go.
Whoa, man.
no, because if you just
I threw out that one joke. I'm just sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
I just think that as like a girl, like you would just relate to it way more. Because like the Kyle thing, especially.
Fuck Kyle.
Okay, I liked a guy. I liked a guy who was exactly like Kyle. No joke. There was just like he was that guy.
Kyle pissed me off, but
Yeah.
he made me laugh a lot.
He was that guy where he would say something highly stupid and you'd roll your eyes at, but you'd still like him. Like I think in the movie, he mentions about how he like has his own like self-rolled cigarettes and stuff, and how he doesn't want to buy
Contribute to the comedy.
industry like cigarettes because they have fiberglass in it. And my like old crush, shout out to Sean. Oh,
Shout out Sean.
he would always mention how that he only pre-rolls his cigarettes because industry like
That's badass.
cigarettes had fiberglass.
Dang.
And this was before like Lady Bird came out, so I was like, wow, me and Greta Gerwig
I think
literally
she stole
lived.
your childhood.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Thinking.
dude, I don't know.
Sue her.
We just had the same thing.
You know what?
Stephanie, do you like Charles Bukowski?
I don't. Well, actually,
He's a poet.
he writes very vulgar poetry and women. I don't think it's my
Example?
type of
Can I get An
thing.
example?
It is
woman?
exact. This entire movie was Charles Bukowski.
Which
you
movie
mean, fam?
or which
Lady Bird.
no which book?
Idiot.
No, just,
fuck up.
his style of quotes in general. I don't hate people. I just feel better when they aren't around.
See?
People run from rain but sit in bathtubs full of water. It's Charles Bukowski.
That's
dumb
It's
as hell.
stupid,
Pass.
dumbass.
Wait, that's his
Fake
movie
deep.
or a character?
But
That's a
also,
poet.
he
It's a
gives
poet.
out one of my
Commentary.
favorite lines of the movie where he's like, "I haven't lied in 2
Oh, yeah.
years."
I wrote
Like,
that one down.
it was literally
That
like
was so
my
funny,
favorite
honestly.
thing.
It's like, I haven't lied in 2 years.
But I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
that's the point. Like, he's an indie boy who, like,
She's the same way. She's exactly the same as he
okay,
is.
but she was the type of person to, like, grab things from other people. Like, her crushes, like, Danny, she was so into theater after knowing Danny was into theater. Like, she got super into it. Then
She's like
she
Monica
dates
in
Kyle,
Friends.
and she was
She's
like,
fake.
I'm going to be a bad bitch. And when he goes, when he, like, when she's like, oh, I won't snitch on you for doing the nuns thing. And she goes, I hope so. I hope not, because I would have killed your family. Like, I have said that one time, like, being like that badass girl who was like, I'll just kill you kind of thing. Like, it's a thing that happens. It's a very relatable thing.
Stephanie, never say that to a person.
Stephanie, I just want to say this to you. I'm really glad I didn't meet you earlier in life.
Oh, yeah,
I
no.
would have hated you.
Yeah, no. I just feel like she was growing, and 18 is like, I used to grab things from like crushes, so I like I knew what she was doing. And obviously you said you would have hated me. I grew as a person, so Lady Bird, you know?
Christine.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Call her Lady Bird.
Her name is Christine.
At the end, she said she introduces herself as Christine.
The mom would call her Lady Bird when she was like cool with her, but then Christine when she was being a bitch.
Yeah.
Her mom was the only character I liked in this movie, other than her dad.
Her dad is such a sweetheart.
Her mom and dad are the nicest,
They are.
most relatable people in this movie.
Miguel?
Miguel's cool.
There's a lot of relationships where I feel like I could relate to.
You know what? Sorry. No, you go on.
No, I was gonna go into like the mother-daughter dynamic. So you go first.
I was gonna say something. Just a quick conversation that Lady Christine, sorry Logan,
Christine,
Lady Bird, and her mother had was.
My name is Manfish.
Sorry, Manfish. Oh, I get it now. All right. When Lady Bird came home late or whatever, and then the mom was like, why don't you fold your clothes away? And then Lady Bird was like, haven't you ever gone to bed without having to fold your clothes? And the mom just went, my mother was an abusive alcoholic. And I was like, yeah, Lady Bird, you don't got real problems.
No, she lives a cozy life, and she doesn't have any reason to lash out, so she makes them up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And I
she's
hate
just in
that
a
about her.
rebellious phase.
Yeah.
She's rebellious for no reason.
But
Yeah,
that's exactly
that's
what it is. That's
She has
exactly what
no
it is.
reason
That's
for
what
it.
That's exactly what it is.
It makes me just detest her. She is horrible.
That's 18 for you.
You're
For a
like the
girl, that's
definition of a
18
dad,
for
Logan.
you. I had no reason to lash out on my mom, but I did. And now me and my mom are really cool.
Dude, if my kid does that, I'm kicking her out to the... She's going to live on the street.
But
Dude.
the
Yo,
thing
that's your
with the
daughter, bro.
mother-daughter
That's awful.
dynamic, like, that's such an
call her
important
Libra.
thing. There's so many characters I could touch up on, and I'm going to.
Whoa,
But
don't you think the mom was a dick sometimes?
No.
Really?
Really?
Okay.
No,
when
wait.
Lady Bird is trying on that dress for prom, and then she's like, they're having that whole conversation or whatever, and then, I wrote it down. She's trying on the dress, and she goes, oh, don't you think it's too red? And she's like, why can't you ever say anything nice to me? And then she said, I wish that you liked me. And then the mom was like, of course I love you. And then Lady Bird said, but do you like me? And then she just said nothing.
When
Like,
a toddler
what the fuck?
swats at a dog, you can't expect the dog not to bite.
That's so easy to say, yeah, I like you. If she obviously, like, for some reason has that feeling towards her own daughter, that's just like, why can't you just say you like her?
But also how her mom constantly critiques her about, like, her walking on stage. I've had friends whose mom would say it in front of, like, our whole group of friends who are like, oh, you walked really weird in front of the stage. And then, like, it's of course you're going to lash out, like, you know? And then also when she's trying on the dresses and she was like, oh, you, like, look a little chubby. And then Lady Bird was like, why can't you just, like me for me? And she was like, I wish I had an eating disorder kind of thing. That her, like, whole comment about that. Like, you know, your mom does affect you.
I just think it's a really complicated relationship, and to blame it all on Christine is not right.
Yeah, because in the Grapes of Wrath thing in the beginning, where they're all crying and stuff, and then Lady Bird,
that's the best intro scene, I think.
like she turns on the
Of what?
radio.
That's what made me hate Christine
This
all
movie?
time.
Okay,
of this
okay.
movie?
We'll just go with the mother dynamic. But
Wait, that made you hate Christine?
The first scene made me hate
Nah,
Christine.
dude, it's so
I
good.
hated Christine for the rest of the movie.
You didn't? Okay, wait. When she jumped out of the car, what was your reaction?
I was like, good. I hope she broke something.
I was laughing.
it's funny
It's
because
funny on
she's such a
scene.
dramatic
and then the close-up
person.
of fuck you, mom. On the gas,
Yeah, that's
like,
such a good intro.
That was
scene.
a good
You
transition. Like,
learn-
the transitions in this film are really good.
I disagree.
I
Okay,
did
well,
like,
I'll
strongly
explain.
disagree.
I'll
I-
explain.
I like the editing. No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
The editing in this was very good.
Like, okay, transitions. My favorite one transition that I liked was the fuck you mom after. Also, when she meets Danny, or she sees Danny singing, and then it cuts into the scene where she writes Danny's name on the wall. The other scene where Danny, like, comes out, and then it transitions to the priest in the hospital with the little tune and melody in the back. Those are good transitions, I think. I liked them personally.
They're very good
Can I
transitions.
just add, what happened to the priest?
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
I have so much to say.
Okay, because when I first watched this, like when it came out or whatever, and Stephanie and I were talking about it, and she was like, "Oh, isn't it so sad the priest was depressed?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, like
For me, it was a
It did
complete
not-
throw. Like, no offense or anything, but like when I was watching it, to me, it was like such a complete throwaway because they
Yeah.
left it at that and
Really?
then never mentioned it again.
like
you don't remember?
the
That was
priest.
kind of ham-fisted to me.
I didn't catch on it. I just I don't know. I thought it was a weird
Like,
way to do it.
I mean, I got that it was like there was like depression there, right? But like even before that scene, he was like there's comedic relief effect where he's like, they didn't get it. Like
Yeah.
that one
Okay.
part.
See,
That's
that's
where I
where
was like, what
that's
was
where I
that?
can explain because the priest was one of my favorite characters. Okay, so like
Gotta throw another joke out.
okay, so you know how it starts in like the drama class and they're doing their warm-ups and like they're like, "Oh, we're going to see who cries first. Whoever cries first wins, right?"
That one I get a lot.
He
now.
starts bawling his eyes out, right? And then after that whole scene, a girl goes, "Yeah, didn't you guys hear like his son died of an overdose at like 17 and all that stuff?"
Yeah.
And then when they're doing the acting,
that.
everybody's clapping, everybody's laughing, and he's like, "They just didn't get it," kind of thing. Like he wrote that play, and like he just didn't see how people understood it.
What
that
a
way.
shitty high school play. I love that. That's such a quintessential, just like high school musical.
Yeah.
It's just like put together at a small theater.
Yeah. But it's that cheesy ending where it's like they put a Shakespeare monologue at the end of a movie where it was like the Tempest. That was kind of cheesy, but I'll excuse it.
But also with the priest, like when they cut into the hospital scene and where like the mom was like, "Do you have a good support system?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Please don't tell your daughter." I like connected that with the fact that Lady Bird's dad also had depression. And I feel like they were touching on the subject about how older men have depression because it's a common thing at that age. Like it's a common thing because this comes back to the factor that they were trying to touch on subjects and like would like touch it on it and then like move away from it kind of thing.
Yeah, I always wish they focus more on the depression of the dad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
Like
true.
now that you're
Just
talking
like
about
in
it,
that topic,
I feel like
yeah.
they did kind of hint at a lot of things and then kind of just pulled away
like
from it.
Danny coming out too.
Oh, that was
like,
I thought
Yeah.
that was perfect.
it
Yeah,
was.
that is
I
true.
really love that scene. It touched my heart.
The long hug that gets me every time.
Yeah, like he just cried. Like
Because I love that. Because at first, Lady Bird is like super like she's just like not wanting to like talk to him or whatever because she's like mad. She's like, "Oh, you fucked up my relationship." But then like when she realizes like this is so much more to him,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she kind of just puts herself in her shoes and then she gets off that step, gets on the same level as him,
Yeah.
And then they hug it out and it's so beautiful,
Yeah.
so beautiful.
I wish that her dad had been more of a character.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I do.
He
love
felt
that.
very absent from the film.
That's
There
what I mean.
is like a scene where like I just like touched my heart too, where the dad goes into the interview and then his son comes in,
Yeah.
and then he's like the young, like he's the smart, and like it's like that moment where you see the father and son dynamic kind of thing, and I really enjoy that because he ends up getting the job, and you just see how like the dad is like still proud of his son,
Yeah.
but also like sad that like
What a good dad, though.
he is
he's the best.
perfect dad.
What a great dad
Yes,
that
I
Christine
totally agree.
just completely ignores.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't
Good
think so.
relationship, I think.
No, I think
Yeah, it's
she is ashamed of where she comes from. She always talks about
She only goes to him when she needs help.
okay, but like
She isn't there to help him.
but who else is gonna be helping her? When you're at that age, you think about yourself constantly. It's more like her mom's not helping her. Who else is gonna help her?
Her mom is helping her, though.
But she doesn't see that. Everybody's blindsided at that age. Okay, just you lived a different like coming of age.
This movie relies entirely on relatability and crumbles under the slightest scrutiny in all other areas.
I don't agree with that because I don't really relate to it that much, and I love it.
But I do agree with you because I think I would have enjoyed it less if I didn't relate with any of the characters.
I don't relate to it at all. I know people just like Christine. I've met people just like that in real life. People that don't put in the effort. People that cheat. People that go behind other people's backs. People that just don't follow the rules because it's easier not to.
Yeah, but
And I hate them.
Badass.
is she not just like a normal teenager going through a rebellious phase though?
No.
I mean, I think it's a little late in her life.
It's supposed to be touching
But-
into
17
Greta
also.
Gerwig's coming.
I
It's like
guess,
that's
yeah.
a bit of Greta Gerwig's how she grew up. It's her coming of age story a bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot
She
of girls
was a
relate
bitch
to.
then.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's what happens
So,
to
let's see.
18. It's what happens. I know all of us, like everybody I know who's a girl, related to this movie because they found that they could relate to the girl. And just the whole interactions, like Julie and Lady
Oh,
Bird,
I
their
love Julie.
friendship. Okay, after you told me
I
that
hated
she's
that.
Jonah
You
Hills,
hated Julie?
I didn't hate Julie. I hated the fact that they broke up as friends because
Oh.
she was popular now.
Yeah, it's a whole
It's
cliche story.
stupid.
It's
Yeah,
the
that
story
was
is
dumb.
not unique, but I thought
not
I
at
think
all.
it's executed so well that I don't
it
care.
is
I
because,
disagree.
but
Fuck
there's
off.
that's something that's touched into a teenage girl's life. Your friend gets jealous because you're making friends with another person. You're going to a different group. You can't be happy for her, kind of thing.
She was still hanging out with her.
Of course, that's what you do too. I've hung out with friends that we've gone to separate groups, but we like still had that interconnection.
She left the class because her friend was talking to two other people.
Okay,
That's stupid.
but it happens.
That's not what people do.
I've always thought about that. Also, she did
yeah.
it so easily.
Yeah.
You could just leave a class to join
It
another
was
one
like-
in the
it
middle
was
of
like
school year.
near the end of the school year,
Yeah.
where she's like, I decided to switch.
I've always thought, I was like, okay. But I loved Jules as a character, Julie.
After
No,
you
I
told
love Julie as a
me that
character.
she's Jonah Hill's sister,
Mhm.
I can't stop
And
looking at
just
her.
the crush she has on the teacher gets me laughing every time.
I
Like that's
so
also
funny.
not a unique thing, but I just think it's so well done.
Like
Yeah.
it's simple that
Yeah.
you don't overthink it.
Simple ass story, doesn't need crazy cinematography.
No.
And also, wait, do you not like the cinematography?
I do not like the cinematography.
I thought it was
It's good.
Like, I was paying attention, and I don't think it was bad.
It's
No,
not
not
bad
bad
at
at all.
all.
It was a 5 out of 10. It was satisfactory. It got the point across. It did its job, and it
yeah.
did nothing else.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. It's just.
But also, it's not really a movie to focus on. It was more focused on. It's a very more story heavy than it
Yes.
is. Like,
You don't need to focus on cinematography. Cinematography is a tool. You don't need to have that be the focus of your movie.
But you see, the the purpose
It's
of the
shot well.
cinematography in this film was it to make it look like a memory, that so that the audience wasn't so into it, but like an outside viewpoint, because they were thinking about using film cameras and film lenses, but budget.
Was this not shot on film?
No,
I
it
could
was,
see film grain.
It wasn't shot on film. It was that.
Was it
They added it on Premiere.
they were-
Wait, so what was the shot on then?
It was like the
'Cause I-
Alex Mini, that one that everybody uses for like it's basically it's not digital, but it has a bit of grain.
Oh.
Well, no, that Alex Mini is digital. Sorry, they wanted to use the something 16,
I don't know cameras that well, but I just thought it was shot on film.
See, a lot of movies use color cinematography,
They used
costume
the guy
design.
who did Moonlight for the colorist was the guy from Moonlight.
He did so good.
They advised it.
And-
they got advice from him.
And a lot of these things are used together to convey feeling without dialogue. Like Inside Llewyn Davis was such a good use of cinematography just to convey feelings. You got the feeling and tone of each scene before they even started just by the establishing shot.
Yeah.
And Lady Bird did none of that.
It's a nostalgia trip. It's not supposed to be, I just.
Nostalgia is not a legitimate reason to give a film a good review.
Yeah, no, I 100%
well,
agree with that.
That's not,
Ready
that's,
Player One.
That's not even why I'm giving a good review. You're.
Ready Player One had the DeLorean. That's an easy 9 out of 10.
I don't know. I
Iron
like.
Giant makes it a 10.
I would say I like the cinematography. It does.
I
it,
would
it
too.
Looks
It
great.
looks nice.
It looks
but
good.
it's flashy without purpose.
I mean,
Okay, I can agree with that.
I guess. I mean, yeah, it is kind of just.
it looks nice, but
short.
there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, there's just point. And
There are
shoot,
so
but-
many one-time shots in the movie that convey no feeling. They just look nice for the sake of looking nice, and they do nothing to add
It's
to the story.
detail. It's detail.
It doesn't do anything. It's pointless detail.
I feel like it's fine. It's
also-
showing what Sacramento is, though. That's the base bit.
She knows.
Yeah, it's showing what Sacramento is.
Go
The
on.
movies, Jesus Christ. Like.
That's the setting. The cinematography has nothing to do with
But
it.
that's what they were using.
Yeah, they use the
my
setting
boy
is a
Diego
completely
talk.
different
Okay,
tool.
give it
My
a
boy
Diego.
grew up there.
Okay. Yeah. I was born and raised in Sacramento.
Hey.
I'm just kidding. I was
For
not.
2 years.
For 2 years. Yeah. But I think Also, Lady Bird tells the story of Sacramento itself, and that's what the cinematography wants for you to capture is Sacramento itself.
That's more the setting than the cinematography, I'd say.
Yeah, but either way, it like the cinematography points to that. You know, it points to what the city is, and that's where we're focusing. Especially all the transition scenes, you want to see what that city is because it's specifically Sacramento.
I would say that the transition scenes were actually very weak. The transitions themselves between scenes were very weak.
No,
They
disagree.
cut scenes off halfway through without finishing them. The one scene that they went all the way through
That's what I like
on,
about it.
the one scene they went all the way through on without cutting off halfway through a dialogue was the scene where she lost her virginity, which was the worst scene in the movie.
That has one of my favorite quotes, though. Who loses their virginity on top?
That's
Great
your,
shit.
That's very true.
I'm gonna say I lost my virginity on top. So.
Well, you're a guy.
I just say it. So I didn't relate to it.
Okay. I don't know. I guess. Yeah, it's an all right scene.
I'm guessing the director just didn't know how to end scenes.
I don't think so.
No,
The
I
one
don't think
time
that.
she tried to, it was very weak.
No.
No,
This
I
is very
disagree.
weak.
I
thought
really
it-
like
She
the
cut them off
transitions.
midway through
That's what I
sentences.
liked about it. Not midway through.
It was.
sentences.
She
were
did.
not.
There were scenes
Get
where
out of here.
somebody was midway through a
Give me
sentence and they
receipts.
cut
Give
it
me
off.
receipts.
Yeah.
Receipts
It
right
was
now.
near the beginning.
Where?
Okay.
Dude, I've seen this movie once.
All right, cool.
Twice.
No
Brag
receipts.
about
like-
it.
I've seen it once or twice, and I don't.
No,
like
I
it.
really.
The movie was jarring. All of the constant cuts were just jarring. It wasn't
I really like the
good.
editing.
It had no flow.
I don't think that's the right word because it didn't flow. I don't think it necessarily took you out of it.
The
but,
dialogue didn't flow between
No,
the
I-
students. The only good actors in this were her parents.
Hey, Lady Bird was good.
Christine was not good.
Call
Her
it Lady
entire
Bird.
performance was wooden. She expressed almost no emotion throughout the entire thing.
No,
She did.
she did.
And the conversations that she had with the other students were just
Don't do
unrealistic.
Don't do Saoirse
Saoirse.
like that. Yeah.
Saoirse.
Don't do it. Don't do
My
it.
gal.
Don't do her like that.
I don't know. I love the editing with this. I felt like they didn't let a scene go on too long, and
They didn't let him go on long enough.
I like how they cut it off like that. But like
It
main,
works
main
sometimes, but they did it with every scene
No, they
except for
didn't.
one.
No, they didn't.
They did.
No, they didn't. Every main scene I felt like needed to say what it needed to say. Then there's the transition shots. I was like really small, little just things of her day that were really small. Just right amount to make me chuckle. Right amount to be like, oh, that's a good transition.
Mm-hmm.
Goes on to the next scene. Perfect. Flowed well.
But
Loved it.
yeah, and they had like little like bits too. You know, the girlfriend, they're at the like little table, and then the girlfriend goes, she talks to Lady Bird, and then the girlfriend goes, "Your sister doesn't like me," runs off.
Oh,
Miguel
yeah.
goes and chases after her.
Yeah, yeah.
You
That's good. And
know,
it's just the
it's like
dad
a
sitting
thing
there
that
by
happens
himself.
too.
It's fun.
I love that scene.
There were some really wooden lines, though.
I-
There were some actors in this that were not giving it their all.
Give me it.
Thank you for letting Lady Bird come to my grandmother's Thanksgiving, Mrs. McPherson.
Yeah, it's just a guy trying to
wasn't-
impress his parents.
People don't talk like that.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the dialogue either.
I like the dialogue.
I think it was quirky.
For me, it was like you're right. It was not natural.
It was well written, but not well acted.
Exactly. Well, some parts I thought like it was like they pulled it off right, but in some parts you could tell we're like, oh, that's not how you talk. Like Logan was saying. So I was also not a big fan of the
When they're at
dialogue.
the dance, and
I
then Danny and Lady Bird are dancing, and then the nun just comes on and walks in and goes 6 inches from the Holy Spirit kind of thing, like just monotone. Just I feel like it was
Well, that works.
Yeah, that was fine.
But like
That's like classic nun joke.
Classic
Yeah.
nun joke.
I think my mom told me
I love nun
that joke one time. Like they would be in dances in the nun.
Oh, they
would be,
used to
like,
say that
6
at
inches for the Holy
my middle school.
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah.
They did it on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Classic.
also
What a classic
Danny
joke
and
that
Lady
is.
pretty
Bird's
classic.
dialogue where she hands him the rollers. And he goes, "They look like sperm," and they're like, "Oh, I love Disneyland." That's when you have a crush. I feel like it's a.
That was, it was supposed
He
to be
didn't
weird.
even do the curly hair.
Oh, he did. And that
Yeah.
He
pissed me
didn't
off.
know how. She never explained in the movie
Yeah,
how to do
they're
it.
too busy kissing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she said, "You could touch my boob."
So you
if
can't
want."
even
I
like.
respect you too much. For
I
that.
respect you
But
too
really,
much.
Really, he's just gay as hell.
Yeah, he thinks boobs are icky.
I like that line. I thought it was funny.
If you had boobs, I wouldn't touch them out of respect.
Yeah, see, good dialogue. I like the dialogue. I wrote down most of my notes were just lines I liked. Also, I just want to
I've been going off the grid. My bad.
like, like there's a lot of just small things that I relate to a lot. Not even like relate to, like they're just conversations I've had. Like when she was playing Alanis Morissette, and she was like, "Can you believe Alanis Morissette wrote this song in 10 minutes?" And Dad just goes, "I believe it." That makes me laugh so much. It's fuck Alanis
So,
Morissette.
do you guys
No,
know
just
what
kidding.
what she was going to school for?
Something liberal, I'm guessing.
Because I'm guessing it's like an English degree or something.
For NYU.
For which I fully understand her mother's hatred of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, did they
probably.
ever say it? I imagine it's just.
She said liberal arts. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, anything.
she got
in NYU is
accepted
probably not
to
worth it.
Davis.
Well, if you
Yeah, no.
think
Come
about it,
on.
if you think like
It was 2002 though. So.
Yeah.
the reason she likes Kyle too was because he's the culture she was looking for. Kind of think he was an indie boy. He was like super like pretentious, and she wanted to go to liberal school kind of thing. Like no,
Makes sense.
Yeah. She wanted to be indie trash.
When we were first meeting Kyle, one of my notes actually says, "Careful not to cut yourself on all that edge."
hell yeah.
I just wrote down, ugh, Kyle. Fuck Kyle.
But
Kyle.
Timothy Chalamet
Yeah,
though,
he's a good actor, but
he's great.
the character Kyle sucks. But it's
Yeah.
supposed to suck.
Have you heard
true.
that one tweet where it was like, what's the guy, Danny? What's the actor's name?
I don't know.
Oh well, they were talking about how A24 keeps him and Timothy Chalamet locked up in a basement because they're always used in A24 films.
Is Danny using a lot? I thought it was just that
He's
new Jonah Hill movie coming
Manchester by the Sea too.
out. Oh, I always forget that.
Yeah.
Damn it. I've had that I've had that revelation like 5 times.
And he was in a Wes
Time orgasm.
Anderson film too.
In what?
Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Who?
Come on, man.
Yeah,
No, I'm just
Ben,
kidding.
stop.
I know of him.
So how can you sympathize with Christine after she tells a woman that she should have been aborted so that they wouldn't have to be in
That is a little
an
rough.
assembly?
Honestly, but that was a great.
That was
a
just
great
for
part.
that was just a bit for the film. Like it wasn't even. That was just Greta Gerwig.
What do you mean?
I don't
It was
agree
just
with
a-
that.
I feel like it was just a bit, just like Greta Gerwig just making her Lady Bird just sound like she was over it and like
That's-
in a rebellious phase.
I always thought that's like.
That's
ooh.
really awful.
Yeah, I was always
It
like,
was a
calm
bad-
That is
it was-
really awful.
It was a bad
Made me
thing to
laugh, though,
say,
I'm not
but
gonna
I
lie.
mean,
Yeah,
like,
me
I
too.
don't think I didn't take it that serious enough to be like.
That's serious.
I didn't look into
Stephanie,
it.
I
was-
wish your mother had gotten an abortion so you were never born. and
Me
you
fucking
didn't-
too.
Well, she didn't say it like that, though. She didn't say it like that. Oh, wait, she did say it like that.
And she said, "You fucking bitch! I wish your mom got aborted."
She said, hey, hey,
Was
and
mom
she raised her hand and she went, fucking bitch, I wish you got aborted. And then she got suspended.
Yeah, good
Love that
times.
movie.
Love this movie. I like it.
Yeah.
So did that guy have like a 15-inch dick or what? Because in that virginity scene, she is hovering way over it. Like-
One can only hope.
Yeah, I can only hope.
And it went all so smoothly too. Like there was no like pain or like it was
yeah, I was thinking
so
that too.
incredibly unrealistic.
Also, I just and I agree
Well,
with
I mean,
Also, she was on top.
that. Also, I love how he comes though. He just goes with his hands out.
Also,
Like
he's
he's
been with like
meditating.
6 girls,
Yeah.
and he's still like 10 seconds.
well, that's the funny
He's a
part.
2-pump chump.
That's the funny
Bump
part because
jump.
she had so much expectations for Kyle that it just adds more to his character of being like a douchebag that
Okay, but like
can't-
6 girls.
I mean, that's why it's funny because he's supposed to be this hot bad boy.
It's more sad than fun.
That's how we sass like those edgy boys, you know, like oh they can never last. It's a thing common amongst
Edgy
girls
boys.
where you know that indie boy where just like oh he can't last 2 seconds or he's like has a small penis. It's just something relatable.
I
It's a
really,
thing that we
I
do.
do not get that.
It just happened. It's
No, I get. It's like it's.
girl. You see, you relate.
It's just
Okay.
On the mic.
Oh, there we go.
On the mic.
Go off.
on the mic.
Okay. I relate to like sassing boys like that. You're like, oh yeah, no, like you can't last, blah blah blah. But also, I found her losing her virginity. I did find it unrealistic because it was so awkward. She wasn't. It was too easy for her. She was like, oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
that.
it's in.
It's not like that.
But I've known girls that it wasn't painful for them at all, and it was just like, oh, okay, kind of thing.
The Room had a better sex scene than this.
Whoa.
I
Well,
think
of course,
it was
that's the
supposed
best
to be
sex scene of all
short.
time.
I love that butt of Tommy.
It was supposed to be
I love
short.
when he fucks that belly button.
He was fucking her belly button, but he was closer than Kyle was. Than
I don't know. I don't touch girls, so.
yeah.
Yeah, you respect them too much.
I respect
The
girls
two
too much.
virgins in here are the ones defending this scene.
I'm not defending.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I think this is a weird conversation
You
because
really outed him like that?
because we're what? Oh. No, I don't care. Yeah, I'm a virgin and I'm proud.
Oh my God, we have to end this podcast. God,
I think this is a weird conversation because you guys are both getting the scenes, the movies, the characters, but you just have a disdain towards them. You like relate to them, so it's weird because like she did what she wanted to do, I think, but it's just such a different reaction to it that it's just like.
I really disliked the ending of this movie.
I liked it.
I really did.
I like the ending.
I have a better ending in mind that I think would have been.
Lady Bird dies. Is that
No,
true?
no.
Nick Fury comes and recruits
The
her for
entire
the
time, she pushes everyone away, and in the end, she gets what she wants anyway. It doesn't matter. She treats her parents like shit. She treats her friends like shit. In the end, she says, "Oops, I'm sorry," and everything is handed to her on a silver platter. Her parents refinance their house for her to go to college.
Yeah, that was
She goes
crazy.
behind her mother's back to go to this.
Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous.
Also, the dad's great.
Which I did. Well, I didn't
Dad's
do
crazy.
that, but I
Dad's
didn't tell my
crazy.
mom I wanted to leave California. She would have had that empty nest syndrome thing. She didn't want me to leave, and so then I just kept the applications and letters to myself, and my dad was helping me. It was like,
Dang.
So, I think what would have been a much better ending is maybe she goes there, finds out she's really not cut out for it. She's failing. She can't get the right grades. And she has to come back home because she's failing her classes. She's losing money. And she ends up going to Davis and discovering, wow, I've kind of been a piece of shit. This is fine. And then she becomes Christine. While she's there in New York, she tries to keep up this facade, but then finds out that this isn't really me.
see, but this
So like
happens in
like
the
another
ending.
45
It does
minutes.
happen, but it happens in the wrong place.
But also, it's not. She needs to self-grow. She has to have self-growth in New York, kind of thing. She
Why?
realizes that she doesn't want Lady Bird anymore, so she introduces herself as Christine.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can't just expect her to grow out of this like right away, kind of thing.
She did, though.
But
She did in the movie.
no, it doesn't.
My ending is
like
better.
over time.
No, because
But-
I like the ending because Lady Bird, she gets shit-faced drunk. She gets, it happens.
she has a literal come to Jesus
Okay,
moment.
But also, yeah, that's why. Because the only thing
Catholic.
she knows in Sacramento is the church. She's in an unfamiliar area. She doesn't know where she is. She's not familiar with she doesn't know it. She's not comfortable with it yet. She goes to a church because that's one thing that in that city that's familiar to her. That's what she knew in Sacramento. That's like home to her. Even though she didn't like the church, that's what she found.
What if she had a come to
Shout out to
Jesus moment
Sacramento.
and then went home?
I don't.
No, okay.
Then went
I think
home
it was
See,
perfect.
because she realized, oh my God, my parents are going insanely into debt for me to go out here on a whim that I just suddenly decided I wanted to do, instead of, going on this path that they painstakingly set up for me.
Yeah, okay, but do you remember when after she got drunk, she went to the hospital and then she like looked at that kid who lost his eye?
Yeah.
And then at that moment, she's realizing she's been like a rebellious little bitch.
Yeah.
So like I think
So
your
what
problem.
if she went back home?
Okay. So she kind of came to the realization that you wanted.
Yeah,
Like
she came to the
she was growing. She's coming of
realization
age.
that I wanted,
But you
but-
just didn't like how it happened.
but she didn't do anything about it.
But if she
That's
went back home, I would have hated it. I like the thought of knowing what happens to Lady Bird after.
Yeah.
She says, "I
Yeah.
love you," hangs up, and she just sighs.
I
And
hope
that's
she
it.
failed.
Okay, well
Come
then.
on. Well,
man.
I hope she gets a good job and pays back the parents for the house. Please.
She's not,
I hope she dies at the
with a
end.
liberal arts
Hey,
degree.
we don't know what she's. I don't know.
She's not a fully grown
She's
girl.
gonna work at
New York.
Starbucks.
She's in New York. Hey,
Yeah, what
Starbucks
if
tastes
she
good.
majors in mathematics? We don't know.
Mathematics.
She took algebra 2 her senior year.
She turned down Davis. She's not going to mathematics.
It's 2002.
oh
Idiot.
my god, what a dummy.
She
What a
turned
big old
down
dummy.
Davis. There's no way she's
Think
going
it's-
into a STEM field.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
You're right.
but I don't
Davis
know.
is the best STEM school in the U.S.
Yep.
And she turned that down.
But I feel like Lady Bird isn't one to like set a major. She probably doesn't even know what she wants to do. Maybe it is probably something liberal. She wanted to go to a liberal arts school.
Yeah,
But
she's
I don't
probably
think I can
undeclared.
judge her for
She's
what she
probably
wants
going
to do.
for writing or English.
Which can I judge her? I can't.
Yes, you can.
I judge her.
Bro, chill.
I can't.
Hey, we're in
You
liberal
guys
arts,
want to
basically.
hear my ending?
Yeah.
Looks like she's gonna
Go
get all
give
this
it to
money.
us.
So my ending is she majors in directing and she makes a movie called Lady Bird.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
So there's
Goddamn.
right, and then it repeats the cycle because in the movie it does the same thing of her version of Lady Bird.
Oh, holy
Yeah.
shit.
And so it keeps just going and
Wow.
going.
Okay. That's pretty cool. That's funny, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
I really disliked the two really ham-fisted comments they had about what year it was.
Oh yeah.
I know. I thought it did good. The only good thing about 2002
There's
is the
nothing.
palindrome.
Yeah, the only
good.
good thing about 2002, the year we
Yo,
are currently in.
You know she
it's
did
like,
not say it like that.
I know, but it felt
No,
like
I thought that was a good way to let you know the year.
it
You
was.
it probably wasn't needed, but
and then
Yeah.
oh well, it was probably easier because
Because of
of the
terrorism.
terrorists because of 9/11 that happened recently.
Yeah.
I thought it
And
was
it's just
fine.
like,
I think it is
They
fine.
go, what about the terrorists? And she goes, don't be such a Republican.
They're just trying to set the
That was good.
setting. They're trying to set
Alright.
the setting. It's fine.
I know. Also,
was
there was
fine.
one scene where she just gets a nosebleed out of nowhere, and she's like, "Oh, I get nosebleeds," and then it's never mentioned again. It
That's
was never established. It's mentioned halfway through the movie,
That's
and it's
super funny,
never
though.
touched upon again.
because
I
in
get
Call Me by
nosebleeds.
Your Name, Timothy gets the character that Timothy plays gets a nosebleed too. So it was just like kind of ironic.
This is not "Call Me by Your
Yeah,
Name."
get
I
that.
know it was, but
Get outta here.
the character who Kyle is the one that she's having
That was
sex
a-
with.
From what I
and
remember,
he-
that was a stupid scene, though, in Call Me By Your Name.
It was really
He,
random.
like, I don't know.
it was,
we'll
it was
save
supposed to show like emotion.
Save it for the
I don't know, it's just weird.
She
Like-
just got a nosebleed
Nosebleeds in general are weird.
for no reason, and people
fucking
do
too hard,
that.
bro.
It happens, but they never established it.
But I think it's just supposed
You
to
don't
be
need
like.
to establish a nosebleed.
But also,
Yeah, but that could have been the establishing, and then they never touched
What,
on
do you
it
want to
again.
just keep getting nosebleeds throughout the movie?
At least twice.
I think it's just.
I think it'd be,
What would that
come
do
out
to the
less
movie?
cheesy.
It's a character thing.
No! Barely. The only time it would be a character thing is in The Lobster.
I think
And that-
I think that's fine.
It just sets
Nosebleed
the
once.
awkwardness of the sex scene, I think.
Like, I'd say I get...
Like, oh shit, I got a nosebleed.
Yeah, but if they had established before, oh yeah, she gets nosebleeds, then you're like, aha, she shit. She
No,
got a
I
nosebleed
know
during
if that
this.
I know if that happened, you would have called out that line of dialogue where they set up a nosebleed because that's dumb as hell.
Yeah.
Also,
No.
I'd say I get
It
nosebleeds.
establishes it as a character.
Oh, dude, that is
I
not a
don't-
defining
I don't think
plot.
so because
Characteristic.
let's say this. I wouldn't.
dumb as hell,
look,
bro.
Ben gets random nosebleeds, right?
Yeah,
I
let
wouldn't
me say
define
it.
that as a characteristic of his.
And I haven't
No,
got
but if
one
it
in
happens
you
years.
at
got
a
a good
critical
point.
moment, you'd like to know that it happens ahead of time.
No.
I
it's a
kind
random
of see what
I
you're
guess see
saying.
where you're
But
getting, but I
It's
still
fine.
like.
It's fine
I
how
don't
it
care.
is.
moment in the movie, and it's just like, oh shit, you're bleeding. It's like, oh yeah, I get nosebleeds. It's like,
Yeah.
what was the point?
But
Either
she's supposed
establish
to-
it or don't put it in.
Yeah, I guess, but you don't need to establish a nosebleed. What was she supposed to freak out because of
It's
the
a
first
small
nosebleed she's
thing.
ever had?
No.
That is a really tiny thing, though, Logan.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a small thing.
It's
like,
really
sorry,
tiny.
sorry,
Yeah,
man, but
it's a
I have to
small thing.
disagree
Why'd
with
they
you
have
on
to
this
have
one.
it in there?
like
Keep it real with
then
you,
had
kid.
like then
It just made the moment less special.
another small thing is Lady Bird when her and Julie are eating the wafers. It's a small thing. Why
love
the
that scene.
wafers? I love that scene.
'Cause also
it's a
there's
small thing.
Because it's a Catholic school.
It's a small thing.
That's
you don't-
established.
But
It's
you don't
established
think
that it's a
about eating the
Catholic school.
wafers. You don't think about eating it at all.
No, but it makes sense because they're in a
They're not
Catholic
consecrated.
school. It's established they would have these things. They went and stole them. They're eating them. It's funny because they're in a Catholic
You don't
school
need to
because it's an
establish a
established
thing.
nosebleed.
You need
A
to-
nosebleed happens to almost everybody.
Yeah,
It's
but
a
it's
small thing
not
that
me.
you.
but she
I'll
says
give you
it
a
as
nosebleed.
if that is one of her things. Like, oh yeah, I get nosebleeds randomly,
Okay,
but she doesn't. She gets the one.
This is such a stupid thing to.
Yeah, it's just like it's something.
It's a stupid thing that they added into the
It's a
movie.
stupid thing to
About
focus
nosebleeds
on.
for about 54
It's just supposed to set the like awkwardness of the sex scene. Like, oh shit, like, you know, like I don't.
It
think
would have
it's
been
something you
more
have to look
awkward
into.
if they had already established that happens.
I don't.
It's like, oh man, I've got a lazy eye. Shut up.
Yo, our audience does not get to tell us to wrap it up. All right?
It's like, oh man,
No, I'm not gonna lie.
oh man, I have a lazy eye sometimes, and then
Same.
later on in the movie,
Sometimes.
during a critical
Who gets a
moment,
lazy eye every now and then?
I don't know.
I would like
Yo,
to clarify
that
that
would be-
Logan's girlfriend Marissa is dying in the corner because
Yo.
she's like, "What the
Honestly,
fuck?"
that scene would have been so much better if she just randomly gets a cross eye.
Yeah.
Instead of nosebleed.
Sorry, I get cross-eyed sometimes.
Just the whole time they're fucking.
No, but imagine if that had happened, but they
Well,
didn't
yeah,
set it up
'cause that's a weird
beforehand,
thing,
and
no
they.
one-
It's a weird,
It's a weird
creepy
thing. The nosebleed was a weird thing.
Nosebleed is completely normal.
Yeah, nosebleed's
It's
more normal
normal.
than cross-eyed.
Pop off, Ben. Just pop off.
What's the
Yeah, that's
deal?
what Jerry said.
It's normal.
All right, can we move on from the nosebleed, please?
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's
please.
move on.
Please.
Anyone got any other points to make?
Also, you said that you didn't like the set setting. What, or like the setting? You
He liked the
before.
setting.
It was fine. I didn't dislike it. It was just okay.
Wait,
I
the
really
setting
liked
of
the room.
Sacramento?
About this movie was just
Yo,
okay, and that's the
Sacramento,
problem with it.
Yeah, that's our hometown.
That's our
It's not.
hometown.
Yeah, I grew
It's
up
not
there.
a bad movie. It's well written.
Oh yeah, very.
It's satisfactorily acted.
Yeah.
The cinematography gets the point across. The setting is fine. The costumes look fine. The acting is fine. And that's the whole point of this movie, is that it's only okay. No point of this movie is great. And it was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, I don't think it
But
should have
it
won.
Didn't deserve even a nomination. It
But you
didn't
see-
deserve to be at the Oscars.
Chill.
I am
chill,
proud
chill,
that
chill,
a
chill,
coming of
chill.
age story like that grabbed that type of attention because they
It
never
was
do.
the wrong coming of age story to grab the
no,
attention.
no,
It
absolutely
wasn't
not. I
good
don't
enough.
think so. I don't think so at all.
I don't care anymore.
Because I
give
just
up.
don't think so.
I now hate this movie. No, just kidding. I don't know.
I am changing my rating though.
I don't hate this movie.
Well, we'll save it for the end.
Yeah, we'll save it later though.
I don't hate this movie.
Me either.
It was fine, and that's my biggest thing about it. It was just okay, and people act as if it is this paragon of movies. It's the Citizen Kane of coming of age stories, and it's just
Well, I think
okay.
we've talked about it before. Most of the praise comes from people who relate.
Yeah,
I still think it's a well-made movie. I don't relate, but I wouldn't give it that huge status that everyone else is giving.
a movie that relies entirely on people's ability to relate to it is
Yeah.
like a big paper mountain that somebody taped up onto a window. It's not a real mountain. Just peel it off and it's gone. It's flimsy. It has no substance.
I still think it's a well-made movie.
I think it is too.
It is a competent movie.
Yeah, it's very.
It's competent. It's something that you can play in the background while you're focusing on something else. It's not something you need to watch to get anything that you wouldn't get from just listening to it.
Okay. right.
Like, no aspect of this movie is spectacular. The writing is okay. Like, everything else, the directing is just okay.
Lay off. You know, it's her first film.
Yeah,
An
we-
actor
yeah, it's
coming
her
to
first
a
film.
director.
Would you?
Yeah, leave her
Would you
alone.
check out a second movie she wrote and directed?
Yeah.
Okay.
She, I
No,
feel like
this was her first time, and it shows.
Okay.
I think she did. Okay,
better than
but
Moon.
also let's take into
It
the
had
factor.
twice the budget of Moon.
Okay, but Gia Capello,
Who?
you know, her like
My
family
aunt?
is known as like really famous like family of directors. Like
Oh,
her,
The Godfather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Godfather, Suicide.
Squad?
No,
Hotline by Logic.
Is it Virgin Suicide? I don't know. But anyway, like she directed her first film. Like she directed her first film. It was like not that good. I think it wasn't that good. But just seeing Greta Gerwig do a good film like this, even though it's her first time, like I
Good
feel
is
like
subjective.
I
Yes.
just can't. I don't see it.
Yeah,
What
these
you
are,
see?
These are just my opinions, you know. I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
No, these are just
I'm just
opinions.
Yeah.
But
talking.
like,
I'm just having fun.
no, if you like this movie, that's fine.
Yeah.
You have a right to like this movie.
And if you
Don't
hate it,
listen
it's
to me.
fine.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't expect to be able to change your opinions on this. This is just
Yeah.
No, I hate it now.
these are just my thoughts on this movie.
we're tight. We're
This
tight.
is
It's
definitely my
fine.
least favorite
No.
movie of all time.
I just think that this is
Turn off
like.
the mic for a second.
I think it's just not deserving of all of the praise that it gets. For a first movie,
To an extent,
excellent.
I agree with you.
Wonderful. Academy
To an
Award
extent.
worthy? Absolutely not.
I think
Well, it didn't win anything, so.
that's true.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. It didn't deserve to.
To an
Congrats to
extent, I
Logan.
agree with both of you.
Yeah.
And none of you at the same time.
Holy shit.
But also, it did win Golden Globes.
Oh, well,
She won.
It
Saoirse
didn't-
won.
Which
Drama and
who got
comedy.
the Golden Globes? Like, what was it for?
She won for directing, for best.
oh,
no,
she
screenplay.
sweeped Golden Globes, didn't she?
Who was she up against?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because there were a lot of stronger movies that came out in 2017.
There was a lot of strong movies.
Get Out there too. Oh, you don't like Get
But
Out.
it was it
I'm
was
not
like
a
for
huge
drama and
fan of
comedy.
Get Out.
Yeah. So can you really?
So
See?
I'm both racist and sexist.
Oh my god.
When you hate women and black.
Welcome to our podcast.
Dang.
No, I don't like Lady Bird or Get Out. I'm both racist and sexist.
Welcome to our podcast, Marissa.
I hope you hate Moonlight.
I haven't seen it.
I hope
You're gonna
I'm
that-
excited to
that
see
would
it. I've
cross
heard
off
good things.
homophobic and racist if you don't like it. So
But also,
here's to that.
yeah. But I hope
Soundtrack
you hate
of that film
Moonlight
is really
and
good.
love
Can't
La
be
La Land.
homophobic. I'm gay.
Oh damn, you're right.
Got him.
All right, is it time for our segment? Our next segment?
Are we?
Should we?
What's our next
We're
segment?
doing.
Oh my gosh! Sorry, I'm sorry.
Have we hashed
We
out
got.
what we needed to
We're
hash
doing
out?
our
Yeah,
segment.
I'm calm. I'm chill. I'm
I-
over
I think
it.
it's time for our segment. Hashtag
folks.
Diego's Joke Corner.
Hey, Digga's gonna do
Here's
some
I in
stand
the
up for
corner.
us.
Well,
Listen
do
up,
it
folks.
after.
I'm gonna be telling a couple jokes.
It's about Ladybird, right?
Speed round, yeah.
Well, give us some time to react, please.
Yeah.
Don't just say it as fast as you
Speed
can.
round. All right. Here's my first joke about Ladybird. Ladybird looks like her favorite spice is cinnamon, but somehow always manages to smell like garlic.
I get that. I totally get that. She looks like she smells.
Ladybird tells the story of a girl living the ultimate indie trash dream. To come from a stinky city to then move out of her parents' house and move to a really stinky city.
Nice.
All right. Now we're talking about Ladybird's cast and how white it is.
Agreed.
The Ladybird cast is so white, it fucked its own brother. Here's a fun fact for you all. The only thing more white than Ladybird cast, can I get a drum roll? Drum roll? Thing more white than the Ladybird cast is, mayonnaise. That's
Butchered that one.
that's what's more white. Like, let's think about it. Even Priest Leviatch, the drama teacher, who is played by a black man, is played by a white man.
No, he's not. What are you talking about?
Because he's albino.
No, he wasn't. He was just really light skinned. He was not albino.
He's pretty white.
So it's not albino.
Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, here's my last one. Ladybird has the whimsical charm of SpongeBob SquarePants, the quick wit of Sandy Cheeks, and the body of Squidward.
Accurate.
Yeah, that was good.
All right.
All right.
There we are.
That was the end of Diego's Joke Corner.
There are 6 jokes for you.
Call me by the name I call myself.
Squidward.
That's funny.
Uh-huh.
Did you write that?
No.
All right. So,
I don't know. This movie to me. Sorry.
let's go right
One
back
last-
into it. Yeah, that's fine.
It's not over.
Okay, this is just final thoughts.
We just want chilies.
This movie to me is very similar to Inside Llewyn Davis, but it does everything wrong. Everything that Llewyn Davis did amazingly, this movie did just okay. And the biggest thing for me was that the main character is just this irredeemable asswipe of a person.
Well, I don't think Ladybird's irredeemable.
Lady Bird.
She's a young woman.
She is a young
But-
She's gonna
woman.
grow
But-
up.
Llewyn Davis, I wanted him to succeed. I wanted him to overcome this and succeed. And Lady Bird, I wanted to see her crash and burn.
Yeah, you just hate women, bro.
Apparently.
All right, that's fair.
There was just something that they did to her character that just made her evil to me. She was horrible. Llewyn was fine. He was mean. He was a mean person. He lashed out at people. but there was always a reason behind it.
But also, he's Oscar Isaac. I feel like you just, you just
gotta
want to
forgive
see
him
him
just for that.
succeed.
She's Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah.
But he's also Oscar Isaac is the pilot on Star Wars, so
we know.
you can suck a dick.
Well, Saoirse Ronan was in Lovely Bones, I think.
And that one assassin movie where she's like grown up and then, or her dad trains her to be an assassin or something. There you go.
What was it?
Thank you, Marissa.
Montana.
What?
Hannah.
Someone just had to say it in the mic. Oh.
She's also in The Host. Thanks,
Which one?
Abby.
The what?
The trashy movie that came out same time.
Oh, the one with the giant fish?
No, it was like they were.
Oh, the host with the aliens. Yes.
Shout out to Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah, for apparently being
And
in a bunch
Timothée
of shitty
Chalamet.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Timmy Chalamet. Yeah.
So ratings, everyone.
You're
Sorry,
the guest.
I'm so
You-
sorry. I'm a little. Sorry,
Hungry,
I'll just shut
hungry.
up.
He's hungry.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, dude.
All right, I already cleared up my final thoughts. I don't think I have to say anything more.
I'm sticking with an 8.
I'm sticking with my 5.
I'm sticking with my 9.
I'll go down 0.5, 7 out of 10.
All right.
That's
All
fair.
right.
Okay.
All right. This was, I feel, a solid conversation.
I loved it.
I think it was
saw,
Good arguing.
Saw all the
Yeah.
sides of the argument,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. Said some dumbass shit, but yeah, it was good. No, yeah, it was
Out
good.
of pocket things, but yeah.
All right.
we chill.
So,
we're cool.
Next episode is my episode.
It is. It is. Ben, what are you
Uh-huh.
picking?
I will be picking Moonlight,
Mm-hmm.
so Logan could show how homophobic he is.
Yes. Finally.
I don't know. Now I almost want to pick Get Out for the second one.
Oh, please do.
I think
Just
I
do
will.
it. Do
I'm
it.
booting
Do
off
it.
Jaws and I'm putting in Get Out.
Hell yeah. Okay, that's
Out.
going to be sick.
No disrespect to
I've
Jaws.
got
That's
the
a
Blu-ray
classic.
in case anybody needs to borrow it.
No, I don't.
All right.
All right. Well, it's free.
I don't want it.
Go.
It's been quite a bit since I've seen Get Out. I saw it like when it first came out, so it's I may have changed
I
a
saw
couple
it.
of.
I saw it in theaters. I loved it. I watched it again with my parents like a couple months ago. Still loved it. So.
I saw a quarter of it.
Oh, you haven't even watched
Oh,
it.
whoa.
Oh, good.
I saw a quarter of it and then something happened and then I just never got back to it. I think I had to leave somewhere. Or maybe it was work. I don't know, but I didn't finish it. I'd like to.
You loved it, right, Diego?
Yeah, I really liked it. I watched it twice in theaters and then I bought the movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
How many times have you
It's a
watched
good sign.
the Blu-ray?
I think like two
Wow,
or three.
so that's
It's a good
if I
sign.
do my math correct, that's 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. That's about as much time as I watched it.
All
All
right.
right,
It
so-
seems like we're
so
Xing it
Get
out.
Out and Moonlight.
Yes, 2.
Cool. I get to prove my
Dude, you could be
my racist homophobia next week.
You could be really racist
Yeah.
for this one.
All right.
Ooh.
Cool.
You're gonna say
Sounds
you're
good.
gonna say your favorite character was
Oof.
the
Oof.
the doctors in Get Out.
He's
The white
gonna say
people in
his,
Get Out.
His favorite scene is the bidding on Get Out.
I liked all of the straight white characters.
Oh.
All right. Well, thank you
All
for
right.
joining us, Diego, my roommate.
Is that what you're just gonna call me? Your roommate?
Yeah.
I'm not your ride or die or your partner in crime or anything like that.
Ooh.
Nah, just my roomie.
All right.
Dick.
Well,
All right.
I guess.
Wait,
Uh,
thanks
this
to our
is-
live studio audience. Our
yeah.
live studio audience are right
Yes, live
here.
studio audience right here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any last thoughts?
Bleh.
Well said. This is
We want food.
That was our emu
Oh.
in the last video.
Hey, Abby,
This
sing us
is-
out.
Oh yeah.
Sing the what?
No, I got it.
Sing us out.
Sing you out with what?
Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who claims that I am the one. But the kid is not my son.
All right, this is,
Hell yeah.
Manfish signing off.
Bye bye.
This is Ben signing off.
Steph signing off.
See you later.
Bye bye.